My cop wife used her access to protect her drug dealer AP, so I made sure she lost everything. Sup Reddit? My cop wife was texting some guy at 2 a.m. Not her partner, not her boss. Then I found out she was using her badge to protect him when he should have been in a cell. She threatened to destroy me if I talked. What she didn't know that I already had every receipt backed up. Grab a chair and enjoy the chaos. I, 29 male, have been with my wife Cassidy, 26 female, for 5 years. Married for 2. She's patrol with Metro PD, about 4 years in. If you asked her who she was, she'd say cop before she'd say wife, without even thinking about it. Her whole life plan was mapped out. Patrol now, detectives next, then major crimes. Every training, every overtime slot, every shift change was about climbing that ladder. Me? I work supply chain for a restaurant equipment company. Not exciting, not heroic, but it pays well and I'm home by 6 most days. I keep stuff moving, bills paid, and the house running. On paper, it worked. She chased chaos, I kept things steady. In reality, the relationship slowly started orbiting her badge. Our plans, our schedule, even our arguments all came second to the job. So when her phone habits and hours started getting weird, I didn't assume she was just tired of me. I already knew who came first in her life, and it wasn't me. The breakthrough came on a Tuesday in mid-April. She told me she had back-to-back shifts, wouldn't be home until Thursday morning, said they were running some big operation and needed all hands on deck. I said fine. She rolled her eyes. Don't wait up. Not like you ever do anything interesting anyway. That's when I remembered the laptop. We had this old MacBook we used to share before she got her work-issued tablet. She barely touched it anymore, just left it in the closet collecting dust. But here's the thing about old shared devices. Sometimes people forget they're still logged into everything. I pulled it out around 11 p.m., opened it up, and there it was. Her iCloud account, still synced, still logged in. Messages, photos, everything just sitting there waiting for someone curious enough to look. I opened messages and found months of text with someone saved as J. January was exactly what you'd expect. Flirty garbage. Hey, beautiful. Miss you already. When can I see you again? Standard affair playbook. Made my stomach turn, but I kept reading because I needed to see how deep this went. February got more detailed. She was complaining about me, about our life. Said I was a dead weight loser with zero ambition. Said I made her skin crawl when I touched her. Said coming home to me was like coming home to a corpse. This guy, Jay, whoever he was, agreed with everything. Told her she deserved excitement. Deserved someone who appreciated her. Classic manipulation. She ate it up. But March was where everything changed. March 8th. That's when Jay first mentioned police. Jay, babe, I think I'm being followed. Cop car been parked outside my place for 2 days. Cassidy, probably nothing. Nah, it's the same car, same PPL, Jay. Can you check for me? I'm freaking out. And she did. That same day, 3 hours later, she sent him a screenshot. I recognized the interface immediately. It was the department's case management system. Confidential database. Officer access only. The screenshot showed an active surveillance operation. Jay's full name. Jordan, 28. Known associate of a drug distribution network. There were notes about previous arrests, current investigation status, officers assigned. She sent this to him. Just screenshotted classified police intelligence and texted it to a suspect. Over the next 2 months, she sent him 23 more screenshots, case files, surveillance logs, raid schedules, undercover officer names. She told him when narcotics units were doing sweeps in his area. She told him which of his friends had turned informant. That last one made my blood go cold. Informants get protection for a reason. People die over that kind of information. Cassidy. Tony's talking to them. They flipped him last week. Don't tell him you know Jay. Holy crap. You sure? Cassidy. I saw the paperwork. He's wearing a wire. Jay. You just saved my life, babe. Seriously, Cassidy. I can't lose you. There it was. In plain text. My wife was in love with a drug dealer and actively helping him avoid arrest, possibly getting people killed in the process. The messages in May showed Jay getting distant, taking hours to respond. She'd send paragraph after paragraph asking if he was okay, if she did something wrong, if he still cared about her. His replies got shorter. Yeah, busy. Talk later. Around the same time, her messages about me got nastier. She told Jay she fantasized about me getting in a car accident, that she wished I'd just disappear, that looking at my face every day made her want to vomit. Cassidy. I swear if I have to spend one more night pretending to care about his boring work stories, I'm gonna lose it. Cassidy. He's like a human sedative. Jay. LOL. Cassidy, I'm serious. Sometimes I think about just leaving everything and running away with you. Jay, yeah? Cassidy, in a heartbeat. By June, he was barely responding at all. She kept sending him case updates anyway, like she was trying to prove she was still useful, still worth keeping around. Then, in late June, he stopped responding completely. Ghosted her. 2 weeks after that, the texts got desperate. Cassidy, please just tell me what I did wrong, Cassidy. I've risked everything for you, Cassidy. I could go to prison for what I've done, Cassidy. Answer me, nothing. He was done with her, and she'd destroyed her career for a guy who wouldn't even text her back. I started taking screenshots. Every message, every photo she'd sent him, every cruel thing she'd said about me. I exported the entire chat history, backed it up to a USB drive, then backed it up again to a cloud account she didn't have access to. Then I started building a timeline. Every date she'd accessed the system, every piece of information she'd leaked, every warning she'd given him, every threat she'd made to investigation integrity. It was 4 a.m. when I finished. I had a folder with 47 screenshots, a complete chat export, and a 3-page timeline documenting everything. But I wasn't done yet. If she was feeding intel to a dealer, what else was she hiding? I started with her car. She'd be gone until Thursday morning, which gave me time. Her patrol vehicle was department issued, but she had her personal car, a Mazda 3 she'd had since college. It was parked in the driveway. She'd driven it to the station and caught a ride with another officer for her shift. I grabbed her spare key from the hook by the door. The car was clean, almost too clean. She wasn't exactly a neat freak normally. I checked the usual spots. Glove box, center console, under the seats. Nothing. Then I popped the trunk. Her gym bag was back there. I unzipped it. Workout clothes, deodorant, a water bottle, standard stuff. Then I saw the side pocket. It was zipped shut but bulging weird. I opened it. Inside was a Ziploc bag, not a sandwich bag, a quart-sized freezer bag. It was full of smaller bags. Each small bag had pills in it. Different colors, different shapes. Maybe 30 bags total. I'm not a drug expert, but I've seen enough documentaries to know what a dealer's stash looks like. This wasn't some leftover party favor. This was business. I stood there in my driveway at 5 a.m. holding what looked like enough evidence to tank her entire life. That's when I realized I needed to be smart about this. Chain of custody matters. If this ever went to court, I couldn't afford any questions about tampering or planting evidence. I didn't touch anything else. I called an attorney I knew from college, guy who'd gone into private practice. Left him a voicemail asking him to call me back urgently about a criminal matter. He called back an hour later. I explained what I'd found without giving too many details. He told me exactly what to do. Take time-stamped photos, wide shots showing context, close-ups showing detail. Record a video narrating what you're seeing and when you found it. Document the original location. Don't move anything. If this becomes evidence, you need airtight integrity on the chain of custody. So that's what I did. I pulled the bag out, set it on the bumper, and recorded a video. I narrated the whole thing like I was doing a documentary. Today is Wednesday, April 17th, approximately 5:15 a.m. I'm at my residence. This is my wife's vehicle. I found this bag and her gym bag in the trunk. I have not touched the contents. I am recording this to establish that I did not plant this evidence. My attorney advised me to document this discovery before any official involvement. I opened the Ziploc bag on camera, showed each smaller bag, described what I was seeing. Then I put everything back exactly how I found it. Zipped the gym bag, closed the trunk, went back inside. I uploaded the video to the same cloud account, added it to the evidence folder. Now I had two things. Proof she was leaking classified information. Proof she was in possession of what looked like dealer quantities of controlled substances. This was enough to end her career, maybe enough to send her to prison. I didn't sleep, just sat there waiting for her to come home so I could watch her lie to my face one more time. She came home Thursday morning around 8 a.m. I was at the kitchen table with coffee. Hadn't shaved, probably looked like heck. She walked in looking exhausted, uniform wrinkled, hair messy. She smiled when she saw me. Hey babe, you're up early. Couldn't sleep. She kissed the top of my head and went to pour coffee. Work stressing you out? Yeah. She leaned against the counter, sipping her coffee, looking at me. You okay? You seem off. Yeah. Actually, I wanted to talk to you about something. Sure. What's up? I pulled out my phone, opened the photos, turned it around so she could see the screen. Want to explain why there's a bag of pills in your gym bag? Her face went white. The coffee mug stopped halfway to her mouth. What? Your car, your gym bag, side pocket. Want to tell me what that's about? She set the mug down carefully. Her cop face came on. The one she probably used during interrogations. Calm. Controlled. You went through my car? That's what you're concerned about? Privacy? You had no right. There's enough pills in that bag to stock a pharmacy. What the heck is going on? She crossed her arms. It's not what it looks like. Then what is it? I'm holding them for Jordan, okay? He needed somewhere safe to keep them. I actually laughed. You're holding it. You, a police officer, are holding distribution quantities of drugs for a drug dealer. It's complicated. Uncomplicated. She looked at the floor. It's temporary. Just until... Until what? Until he moves it? Until he sells it? You realize what you're saying? How do you even know about Jordan? The same way I know you've been sending him classified case files for 3 months. The same way I know you've been feeding him raid schedules and informant names. The same way I know he dumped you 6 weeks ago, and you've been falling apart ever since. She just stared at me, mouth open, brain rebooting. The laptop, I said. iCloud sync was still on. Read every message. Saw every screenshot. I know everything. She grabbed the counter like she was going to fall over. That's... You can't what? Can't prove you've been committing felonies? Because I can. I have screenshots, timelines, everything you sent him, everything you told him, all backed up in 3 different places. Her face changed. The shock disappeared. Something colder came out. You need to delete that. Right now. No. I'm serious. Delete it. All of it. Not happening. She stepped toward me. You don't understand what you're doing. That information could what? End your career? Send you to prison? Yeah, I'm aware. If you show anyone those messages, I'll tell them the drugs are yours. Excuse me? You heard me. I'll say I found them in your stuff, that I was gathering evidence to report you. Who do you think they'll believe? A police officer or some supply chain guy? You're threatening to frame me. I'm protecting myself. You're trying to ruin my life over a mistake. A mistake? You've been helping a drug dealer avoid arrest for months. You've put people in danger. You've broken laws, plural. That's not a mistake. That's a choice. He was scared. I was trying to help. You were in love with him. Don't act like this was some humanitarian mission. Her eyes got wet. So what? You're going to destroy me? After everything we've been through? You destroyed us the second you started sleeping with him. I never. Don't. I read the messages. The can't wait to see you tonight texts. The last night was amazing stuff. I know everything. She wiped her eyes. The tears stopped. That cold look came back. If you turn me in, I'll make sure you go down with me. The drugs. I'll say you pressured me into looking up information. I'll say you've been abusive, controlling. They'll believe me. You understand? She said. You can't prove anything. And if you try, I'll bury you. I nodded slowly. Got it. Good. So we're done here. This conversation never happened. Sure. I need some air, I said. I'm going out for a while. Where are you going? I grabbed my keys. Out. I need some space. Don't do this, please. I didn't answer. Just walked out and got in my car. I drove to a hotel across town, checked in for 3 nights, sat on the bed and stared at the wall for an hour. Then I pulled out my laptop and started organizing everything. Screenshots in chronological order. Timeline updated with today's confrontation. Audio file labeled and backed up. Yeah, audio file. Because I'd expected something to happen. Expected her to either break down completely or try to threaten me somehow. So I'd recorded the whole conversation on my phone in my pocket in case I needed it later. Turned out I needed it. Recording in progress. The whole thing. Her threat to frame me. Everything. I had everything I needed. Question was what to do with it. I could file for divorce. Walk away. Let her destroy herself eventually. Or I could make sure the right people knew what she'd done. I spent 3 days at the hotel before the knock came. Sunday afternoon, around 2 p.m. I was on my laptop checking work emails when someone pounded on the door. Opened it to find a guy in a reflective vest holding a clipboard. Are you... He checked his paperwork. Are you the respondent in case number CV 2024-8847? I have no idea what that means. He handed me an envelope. You've been served. Court date is Wednesday at 9 a.m. Have a good day. He left before I could ask questions. I opened the envelope. Temporary order of protection. Petitioner, Cassidy. Respondent, me. She'd filed against me. I sat on the hotel bed and read through her statement. It was 3 pages of lies so detailed she must have spent hours writing it. According to Cassidy, I was controlling and emotionally unstable. I'd been behaving erratically for weeks. She'd discovered suspicious pills in our home, didn't specify where, and became concerned I was involved in something illegal. That's why she'd accessed police databases. She was trying to protect herself. checking if I had connections to dangerous people, doing her due diligence as a concerned spouse and officer of the law. Then I'd confronted her about going through my belongings, became aggressive, made threatening statements. She feared for her safety. She needed protection from me while she figured out her next steps. I called my attorney Monday morning, explained the situation in the parking lot of a coffee shop because I didn't want anyone overhearing this mess. Bring me everything, he said. The order, any evidence you have, anything that contradicts her statement. I met him at his office that afternoon, showed him the order, showed him the recording of my wife threatening me, played the whole thing. He listened without interrupting. When it finished, he sat back. This is good. This contradicts her entire narrative. So the order gets dropped? Probably. But you need to understand something. If a temporary order gets issued, even if it's later dismissed, it can show up on background checks. Some employers see it and don't ask questions. Some landlords won't rent to you. It follows you. Even if it's based on lies? Even then, the system doesn't always differentiate. You get tagged with protective order filed against, and people make assumptions. We fight this, my attorney said. Wednesday, bring the recording. Don't bring attitude. Just let the evidence speak. Wednesday morning, courthouse downtown, small courtroom, maybe 20 seats, civil calendar, nothing dramatic, just a judge working through a stack of protection order hearings. Cassidy showed up with her attorney. She wore jeans and a plain sweater, hair pulled back, no makeup, looked like someone who'd been through heck. Good performance. I'd give her that. Her attorney went first. Repeated the story from her statement. Controlling husband. Erratic behavior. She found drugs, got scared, did some research to protect herself. Husband confronted her aggressively. She feared escalation. My client is a police officer, her attorney said. She's trained to recognize dangerous situations. She felt genuinely threatened. She needs this protection while she establishes separate housing. The judge looked at me. Response? My attorney stood. Your Honor, we have evidence that directly contradicts the petitioner's statement. Specifically, audio recorded by my client during the alleged confrontation. I'll hear it. My attorney played the recording. The whole kitchen conversation. My wife's voice came through clear. I'll tell them the drugs are yours. You heard me. I'll say I found them in your stuff, that I was gathering evidence to report you. Who do you think they'll believe? A police officer or some supply chain guy? He was scared. I was trying to help. You were in love with him. If you turn me in, I'll make sure you go down with me. The drugs. I'll say you pressured me into looking up information. I'll say you've been abusive, controlling. They'll believe me. The courtroom was quiet when it ended. Her attorney started to respond. The judge held up a hand. Ms. Cassidy, the judge looked at the paperwork. I'm not asking your attorney. I'm asking you directly. Did you make these statements? Cassidy looked at the floor. I was upset. I said things I didn't mean. You said you'd tell law enforcement the drugs were his. You said you'd claim he was abusive. Those aren't vague threats made in anger. Those are specific false allegations. Silence. The judge flipped through the paperwork again. The temporary order is denied. I have serious concerns about the credibility of your petition. I'm noting in the record that you made contradictory statements under oath versus recorded conversation. If you pursue further action related to these allegations, I suggest you speak honestly with your attorney about the potential consequences. No yelling, no dramatics, just cold, official disapproval. This matter is dismissed. Next case. Cassidy's attorney packed up fast. Cassidy wouldn't look at me, wouldn't even glance in my direction. Just followed her attorney out of the courtroom like she was trying to disappear. I stood there watching her leave. That's when I knew for sure. She really would have done it. Would have lied to a judge, filed false reports, destroyed my name, whatever it took to protect herself. If I hadn't recorded that conversation, I'd be standing here with a protection order on my record. Employers would see it. Landlords would see it. Everyone would assume I'd done something, even if it got dismissed later. She'd almost tagged me with it anyway. My attorney caught up with me in the hallway. That went well. Yeah. What are you going to do now? I thought about the USB drive in my backpack, the evidence folder, the timeline, everything she'd done. I'm going to make a phone call. 2. Professional standards, internal affairs, whatever they call it. He nodded slowly. That's a nuclear option. She just tried to frame me in court. She's got access to police systems and a history of lying under oath. What do you think she'll try next if I just walk away? Fair point. You want representation for that meeting? Probably smart. I'll make some calls. Set it up for early next week. Give them time to prepare. I pulled out my phone. Found the number for professional standards. I'd looked up earlier that week. Called them right there in the parking lot. I need to report an officer. I have evidence of criminal activity and misuse of department systems. When can I come in? They scheduled me for Monday morning. I drove back to the hotel, packed my stuff, and started organizing everything for the meeting. Screenshots, photos, videos, the recording from the kitchen, the dismissed protection order. My wife wanted to play games with the system, wanted to use her badge as a weapon. Fine. Let's see how that works out when the system turns around and looks at her. I didn't make it to Monday morning before they came to me. That night, same night I called professional standards. I was back at the hotel organizing evidence when someone knocked. Hard. The kind of knock that means business. Opened the door to find two plainclothes officers standing there with badges out. You called about an officer earlier today? The older one said. We need to talk. Now. They didn't ask to come in. They walked in. The younger one closed the door behind them and stood near it like he thought I might run. Have a seat, the older one said, pointing at the desk chair. I sat. They remained standing. Classic intimidation setup. So you called our office making some pretty serious allegations about an officer, the older one continued. Before we go any further, I need to be clear about something. Filing a false report against a police officer is a crime. A serious one. You understand that? I understand. Good. Because we've dealt with angry spouses before. Guys who get dumped and decide to make their ex's life difficult by inventing stories. That what this is? No. You sure? Because your wife filed a protection order against you. Says you've been unstable, aggressive, found drugs in the house. That doesn't exactly make you look like a reliable witness. And the protection order was dismissed, I said. This morning. Judge threw it out because she lied in her statement. That's convenient timing. Call us the same day your wife tries to protect herself from you. She wasn't protecting herself. She was covering her tracks. The younger one crossed his arms. So your story is what? Your wife's some kind of criminal mastermind, and you're the innocent victim? My story is that she's been leaking classified information to a drug dealer she's sleeping with, and I have proof. They exchanged a look. The older one's expression didn't change. What kind of proof? I gestured to the laptop on the desk. Messages. Screenshots of case files she accessed illegally. Photos of controlled substances in her possession. Audio of her threatening to frame me. Everything's documented with dates and times. Show us. I opened the laptop. Started with the messages between my wife and Jordan. Weeks of conversations. Her warning him about raids. Telling him about surveillance. Giving him names. They read in silence. The younger one's posture changed slightly. Less aggressive, more focused. These could be faked, the older one said, but his tone had shifted. Less accusatory. More careful. They're not. I pulled them from our shared cloud account. You can verify the metadata. Verify the device IDs. It's all there. I showed them the screenshots next. The case files. The database searches. All accessed from her patrol login. All outside her jurisdiction. All sent to Jordan within hours. How'd you get these? She left herself logged in on our home laptop. I documented everything before she could delete it. The older one leaned forward. And you're saying she has drugs? In her gym bag. In her trunk. I have photos. Video. I found them last week and documented everything. I showed them the photos. The pills. The gym bag. The car interior. The angle showed everything clearly. Why didn't you report this immediately? Because I needed to understand what I was looking at before I accused a cop of dealing. And I wanted protection in case she tried to flip it on me. Which she did. Hence the protection order. The younger one finally spoke. Play the audio. I played the kitchen recording. My wife's voice filled the hotel room. I'll tell them the drugs are yours. You heard me. I'll say I found them in your stuff. That I was gathering evidence to report you. Who do you think they'll believe? A police officer or some supply chain guy? If you turn me in, I'll make sure you go down with me. The drugs. I'll say you pressured me into looking up information. I'll say you've been abusive, controlling. They'll believe me. When it finished, the room was quiet. The older one sat down on the edge of the bed. First time he'd relaxed since walking in. How long has this been going on? The affair? At least 6 months based on the messages. The database stuff? Same timeline. The drugs? No idea. I just found them last week. And you're willing to give us everything? Testify if needed? Yes. Even knowing it'll destroy her career? She'll go to prison? She threatened to frame me for felonies. Filed a false protection order. She's already proven what she'll do to protect herself. You think I'm safe if I just walk away and hope she doesn't come after me again? The older one nodded slowly. Fair point. They spent the next 2 hours going through everything. Every message. Every screenshot. Every photo. They asked questions about timelines. About my access to the devices. about my relationship with my wife, about whether I had any criminal history they should know about. They were thorough, and they weren't friendly about it. Even after seeing the evidence, they kept pushing, testing my story, looking for holes. Around midnight, the older one made a phone call, stepped into the bathroom, came back 5 minutes later. "We're taking this seriously," he said, "but we need to verify everything independently. That means we're taking your laptop. We're taking copies of everything on it. We're going to pull your financials, your phone records, talk to your employer. You good with that?" "Yes. And you're not going to contact your wife. You're not going to tell her about this conversation. You're not going to give her any warning that we're looking into this. If you tip her off, we'll charge you with obstruction. I don't care if she's your wife. You warn her and you're done. Clear?" Crystal, the younger one, bagged the laptop. They had me write a preliminary statement, took photos of the dismissed protection order, made me sign a bunch of paperwork. "We'll be in touch," the older one said as they left. "Don't leave town without letting us know." Then they were gone. They called me back Friday morning. 5 days of radio silence, then my phone rang at 7 a.m. "We need you to come in. Today. Bring your attorney." 2 hours later, I was sitting in a conference room at Professional Standards with my attorney beside me and the same two investigators across the table. "We verified everything," the older one said without preamble. "Every access log, every message, every piece of evidence you gave us checks out. We pulled her personnel file, found 2 prior complaints about unprofessional conduct that were buried. We talked to her patrol partner. He confirmed she's been acting strange for months, secretive, taking calls she wouldn't explain. So what happens now? We're executing a search warrant on your house this afternoon. We'll recover the drugs, seize her department equipment. She's being placed on immediate suspension pending the investigation. Does she know? Not yet. We're sending someone to her shift in about an hour to inform her supervisor. She'll be pulled off patrol and escorted out." My attorney leaned forward. "What about my client? Is he clear?" "He's clear. We've verified his employment, his whereabouts during key dates, his financial records. He's a witness, not a suspect." "Thank you for coming forward," the older investigator said, and for the first time since he'd knocked on my hotel door, he looked at me like I was a person instead of a problem. "What she did, the database stuff, the leaks, that put real investigations at risk, real people. You probably saved lives by reporting this." I didn't know what to say to that. "We'll keep you updated," he continued, "but from here, this is our case. You don't contact her. You don't respond if she contacts you. You let us handle it." "Understood." They executed the search warrant that afternoon, found the drugs exactly where I said they'd be, seized her laptop, her phone, her department equipment. Cassidy wasn't home when they arrived. Had to wait for her to show up. When she did, when she saw the warrant, the first thing she asked was if I was the one who called them. They didn't confirm or deny, but she knew. An hour later, my phone started ringing. Her. I let it go to voicemail. The voicemail was 2 minutes of her crying and yelling. "You destroyed me. You destroyed everything. I hope you're happy. I hope this was worth it. You're a vindictive, cruel person, and I'll never forgive you for this." I deleted it. Her mother called next. Started in on me the second I answered. "How could you do this to her?" "Do what?" "You know what? You turned her in. You got her suspended. You ruined her career. I reported crimes. She ruined her own career. She made a mistake. She committed felonies, plural, for months. That's not a mistake. That's a pattern. You're her husband. You're supposed to support her. She was sleeping with a drug dealer and leaking classified information to help him. What part of that deserves my support? She's devastated. She's talking about hurting herself. Then you should probably call a crisis line. I'm not her support system anymore. You're heartless. I'm done. There's a difference." She hung up on me. Her brother called next. Tried the reasonable approach. Said everyone makes mistakes. Said I was being extreme. Said she needs me right now. "Did she tell you she threatened to plant drugs on me and say I was abusing her?" Silence. "Didn't think so. Ask her about that. Then call me back if you still think I'm the bad guy." He didn't call back. The investigation took 3 weeks. They interviewed everyone. Her supervisors. Her patrol partner. The officers on the surveillance team she'd compromised. They confirmed everything. Every system access. Every file she'd pulled. Every piece of information that matched what she'd sent to Jordan. They arrested Jordan 2 weeks into the investigation. Different charges, different case, but the timing wasn't coincidental. Turned out they'd been watching him for 6 months. Her warnings had helped him avoid arrest twice. 3 weeks after the raid, the lab results came back. The pills she'd been holding matched chemical markers from seizures tied to Jordan's supply line. The DEA had samples in their case files, Same composition, same tablet press marks. That linked her stash directly to his operation. She'd been holding product for him, probably moving it when he needed her to. The formal hearing was scheduled for mid-July. My wife tried calling me 4 times the day before. I didn't answer. Her attorney reached out, asked if I'd be willing to testify that she was under duress, that Jordan manipulated her, that she wasn't in her right mind. I told him to lose my number. The disciplinary hearing was brutal. I didn't attend, but the lead investigator called me after with the details. They'd brought everything. My evidence. Their investigation. Witness testimony. The works. Cassidy tried to claim she'd been manipulated, that Jordan threatened her, that she was scared for her safety. Then they played the audio of her threatening to frame me. That ended the manipulation defense pretty quick. They went through every system access, 47 unauthorized searches, 19 confidential case files, 7 active investigations compromised, 2 informants potentially endangered. They showed the messages. Her telling Jordan about raids, warning him about surveillance, giving him names of cooperating witnesses. They showed the photos of the drugs, her gym bag, her car, her possession, the lab results linking the pills to Jordan's supply chain. The panel didn't even deliberate long, 20 minutes. Came back with, dismissed from service with cause, lifetime ban from law enforcement in the state, referred to the district attorney for criminal prosecution, security clearance revoked. She walked out of that hearing with nothing. No job, no career, no future in policing anywhere, facing potential felony charges that could put her in prison for 5 years minimum. The DA took another 2 weeks to review everything before filing charges. They weren't rushing. They wanted the case airtight. When they finally moved, they filed 4 felonies: misuse of computer systems, obstruction of justice, possession with intent to distribute, official misconduct. Her attorney got her a plea deal. The DA offered it 3 weeks after charges were filed. Plead guilty to 1 count of official misconduct, accept 5 years probation and permanent loss of security clearance, and they'd drop the distribution charge. If she violated probation even once, the original charges came back with up to 8 years on the table. It wasn't mercy, it was leverage. She took it. I filed for divorce while she was signing the plea paperwork. She didn't contest it, didn't ask for anything, just signed where her attorney told her to sign. The whole process took 4 months. By October, I was divorced, living in a new apartment downtown, and she was working customer service for a cable company making $12 an hour. Her parents stopped calling me after the plea deal. I think reality finally hit them that their daughter had actually done everything I said she did. Her brother sent 1 text. "You got what you wanted. Hope it was worth it." I didn't respond. Jordan got sentenced around the same time. 5 years. Federal charges. He'd be in for at least 3 with good behavior. Cassidy tried to visit him. He refused. Wouldn't even put her on her visitor list. Even now, after she destroyed her life for him, he wanted nothing to do with her. That was 6 months ago. Last I heard, she's still at the cable company. Still living with her parents because she can't afford her own place. Still on probation. The felony conviction killed any chance of getting decent work. No government jobs, no corporate positions, no anything that requires a background check. She threw away a career, a marriage, and her freedom for a guy who ghosted her and won't even talk to her from prison. She texted me yesterday. First direct contact since the divorce finalized. Her. "I know you don't want to hear from me, but I'm desperate. I can't find work anywhere. Every job runs a background check. Could you talk to your company? Maybe get me an interview?" I typed 1 sentence. "Me. You made your choices. Live with them." Then I blocked her number. Again. Permanently this time. I'm doing fine. Got a promotion. New apartment downtown. Normal life. No drama. She liked to say she'd take a bullet for the badge. Turns out all it took was a shared laptop, a USB drive, and 1 phone call to internal affairs. Guys, we are so close to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. It really helps hit that 100,000 mark. Thanks for making this dream come true.